Happy Easter, everyone. And I don't know about you, but I don't know what else there is to do this Easter except stay home and cook. So I'm literally making my way through my own healthy treats recipe book so that I can have heaps of healthy treats but still have a nice sweet hit over this Easter. I've got some of my carrot cupcakes, they're cooling down. I'm going to put some icing on them later, but I wanted to show you how to make your own kind of fruit and nut chocolate. So I've got the recipe on how to make your own chocolate in the Healthy Treats ebook, but I did have some good quality 70% cacao dark chocolate to use up. So I'm going to use that for this recipe, but if you want that dark chocolate, how to make your own, you can get that from my Healthy Treats ebook and this recipe that I'm making as well. So the first step is to throw in your choice of nuts. So these are the whole nuts already. So I've got cashews, almonds, walnuts, and I've thrown some pepitas in there because these are the ones I want to chop up. But if you're putting smaller seeds hemp seeds and things like that, they don't need to be chopped. They can add in later in the next step, which I'll show you. So I've got 20 grams of each here, so that's 80 grams in total of whatever mix. So put in 80 grams of one nut if you just want one type of nut, or any combination that you want. Pop the lid on, we're going to turbo it. So find turbo just for half a second, 1 to 2 times. Look your ears. Yeah, that's probably enough. So just check it after 1. Then I'm going to put that aside. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to add now I've got shredded coconut, goji berries, cranberries, and hemp seeds in here. Again, it's about 80 grams in total of those things. So shredded coconut, goji berries, cranberries, and hemp seeds. So roughly 20 grams of each again, and just throwing all of that in. And we're just gonna mix it. You can probably just mix it with your spatula. Either way, it's just to combine it all, and then it's going back into the bowl. That's our mix to go into the chocolate. Then don't wash the bowl. They are the best words to hear. You don't have to wash or do anything to the bowl because it's all going to end up in the same place. So throw the bowl back in, and now we're adding the dark chocolate. Make sure you break it into squares, 1 or 2 pieces, no bigger than that. You want between 200 and 300 or plus, but minimum 200. Then we're gonna chop that up super fine. So on a speed of 7, and I'm just gonna listen to it. So 10 seconds on 7, or you can do 8 as well. Yes. Make sure you scrape it all down so that looks awesome. So scrape it all down off the sides because we're going to melt it now. So you want it to be all kind of together. For this, we're going to add some little bit of coconut oil just to help the melting. And it's important that you don't use chocolate chips for this recipe because some of them, they're not made to melt. They're meant to stay in one piece. So you'll end up getting a big blob that just doesn't melt and it just rolls around in the bowl. I've tried it before, it's not good. So grab some coconut oil. I'm going to put in 30 grams here because I've used 300 grams of chocolate. So you can use 20 if you use 200 grams. So pretty much 10 grams per 100. Right. Now, we're going to melt that. So for a few minutes, I'll check my recipe how long. 3 minutes, 60 degrees. You don't want it too high because it'll definitely burn it. And then just on a nice slow speed. So we'll come back to that in a sec. Just forgot to mention, while you are waiting for that to melt, get a big baking tray and just have that ready to pour onto, and make yourself a tea or a coffee or a wine or something, and while you wait for it to melt. Okay, so that looks really good. I've just got some stuck on the top of the blades and a little bit on the side. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But what I'm gonna do is just make sure that goes into the rest of the melted chocolate. Take the stuff off the blades so that it will melt properly with the rest, and then melt it for another minute, 60 degrees again, because you can't have any like wasted chocolate. That's just not an option. So popping that back in, now it's like pretty liquid, so I'm going to put that on for just 1 more minute. 60 degrees again, this time on a slightly higher speed. So a 1, and while that's happening, we can I'm going to put about half the mixture, or a little bit of it at least, on the tray. Then we're going to pour the chocolate on top, and then we're going to set some in the top. Just because I've got a fair bit of ingredients here, so I think it's going to be a bit better if we spread it out. Now think beyond like any combination that you want, like think beyond the nuts and the coconut and everything, like coffee beans. You can have like just goji or just seeds, or you know, any kind of combination really, like get creative. So I've got a bit there. Then cool, that is done. 3, 2, 1. Then cool, that is so nice and runny. So I'm just going to pour that as evenly as I can over everything, and to the sides and the middle, and spreading it all out. See how I'm trying to get everything out of the bowl too, by using the top of the spatula to scrape everything down to the bottom, and then putting the spatula on the bottom and doing a turn, making the blades do a turn, and we'll get everything that we can out of that. Okay, that's about as good as I can get. If you do have more chocolate than that left over, throw in some dairy-free milk after, heat it and blend it up, and you can have a nice hot chocolate. So let's tilt this to kind of cover it all. Okay, and when you've done that, then we can get the rest of the fruit and nut mixture. Sprinkle it on top. Don't be shy. Okay. Then just really gently push the stuff in, so it just kind of gets a bit stuck in the chocolate. You don't want it just falling off everywhere when you break it into pieces. And then you are going to put this in the freezer to set for about 40 minutes, because it's still like the chocolate's still warm at like 50 degrees. So you want it to set, then you can break it apart. After it's set, you can break it apart just with your hands. you'll be able to pull the baking paper off, break it into parts, and store it in the fridge to eat as required. So I hope you make that this Easter or whenever, doesn't matter. Yeah, let me know different combinations that you think of, that you try. Make sure you wash your hands, of course. Are you done yet? Ooh. Oh, you are ready to get snapped. Once you've waited patiently for that chocolate to set with the fruit and nut in it, you just have to really roughly break it up by just taking the sides and holding the baking paper, and you're just gonna get like the nicest little like bits of chocolate like that. Snap it. Small little pieces, big pieces, doesn't matter. And enjoy the shit out of that. I know I will have to control myself pretty hard not to eat all of that. So yeah, ration it out. You're gonna have like nice rustic chocolate pieces like that.